grand end-of-the-century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people. The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies. And today, we showcase even more advanced technology, a glimpse into the future. A world first, a demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine! A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity and beamed to another location. Whereupon his body will be reassembled by a series of complex calculations exactly as it was before. In but a few moments from now, this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air. To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you!
Bruno, are you listening? Sorry, what was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper is full of news about the Great Exhibition again. The Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Not this again. Did you say something, Iris? Gosh, you're even more down. What about, I don't know. Ah! When did you arrive, Mr. Naruto? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here. You know, because breakfast. Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much so that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes. Clearly it can be deduced therefore that... let me stop you there, Mr. Soames, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has. Ever since we first met, in fact. Not this again. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been about 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court, what have we been doing all this time? So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh. Well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley? Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. What's the matter with Mr. Soames today? Seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know, and the great exhibition has opened. You'd think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go to see it together? I want to! Of course I do! But I can't! Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from. Is that it? I do remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. Suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Recap. Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable, yet at the same time, unforgivable mistake. Words fail me. This situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your faith following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study, so that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Bruno? Reading all those big fat tomes about British law up in your room, and the notes about Sholmes' old cases. Brewing Iris's special blends of tea, fetching my daily bread for me. You've become something of a manservant around here. Start on the silverware next, Master Naruhodo. Well, thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically, Lord Strongheart, at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Lord Strongheart? Ah, the delightful Lord Chief Justice. Not my favourite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could. I can't do that just sitting around here. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching. Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on? Do you mean those things fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how? How does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. It's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. But in 100 years' time, all these things will just become common knowledge. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Some went wrong on the open experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it, though. I'd love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. Is she innocent, though? See here, every page of this paper carries some article or another about the great exhibition. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. Shadows cast behind. Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? Let's look at the front. Every article on the front page is news about the great exhibition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's all so positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go to see it properly before long. The guy from the cutscene. First test of matter transport device. Okay then. The Reaper attacked. Lord Von Zieks and compatriot cornered. Oh my god, no, lost cat! So many glowing reports about the great exhibition and everything that's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy one, that is. Wait, what? What's the matter, Runo? The Reaper attacked. That's Lord Von Zieks! This must be what Mr. Shows was talking about. Does he know any more, I wonder? Oh, well, we're not going to talk about the lost cat! Ah! Fine! Good heavens. We've checked the back of the paper. But first, your gloomy mood. Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add. It's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shh! Quiet, Mr. Naruto. You must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Usually, the more mysterious and complicated a case is, the better Hurley's mood. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please! You mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation! Remember what I always say! Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions! You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes. Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. That was a deep sigh. It says in the paper that Lord von Zieks was attacked. That's terrible! You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes. Prosecutor Baroque von Zieks. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, the person's time on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. Stop at nothing to secure an acquittal at trial. Falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to be taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord von Zieks has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time. He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness! Is he alright then? Is Lord von Zieks hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord von Zieks and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition. This is someone's welfare we're talking about. Oh, I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No! I can't wait until tomorrow! In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. Who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps? Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ha! You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you'd be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but now I'm wondering where you're actually going. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Well then, see you later indeed. Listen to him, still laughing on his way out of the door. Hello, Minnie Mouse. Right then, Bruno, let's get going. Iris? What are you wearing? I've got change to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. I guess we can't leave you alone here. But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well, that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then. Alright. Fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course. And after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to see the Great Exhibition. To Lord Strongheart's office. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here. But some things never change. Like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. Meanwhile, it doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, I love this place! I always find so many interesting books here! Of course, I was forgetting that you'd been here before. The time we came here 6 months ago. When Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan. Oh, I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, Lord Strongheart! I trust you've been keeping well? Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. No, not at all! I like nothing more than standing around staring into space, sir! Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Mel Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we're the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Well, thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind, as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. Right. Well, permission to work. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in court as a lawyer was revoked, and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened. The thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Oh, here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. That's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on this study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asogi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill this calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged. What do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you so much. That's wonderful news, Bruno. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope? Of course! Please, tell me more! You described it as a curious affair. Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? No. Didn't Iris say something? Yes, I read about it. Yep. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think. Instantaneous kinesis? As in moving things with a click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A dash of devil-may care. Whatever this serious accident was exactly, it's clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage, and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Odie Asman, an investor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion? The man died? They didn't report that. The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Harebrain. He was detained immediately after that incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow on the charge of murder. What? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There is very little time for you to carry out any kind of investigation. Yeah, the trial's tomorrow. Great exhibition. A scientific experiment gone wrong. And murder? I feel out of my depth before I've even started. Still. We should go to the prison straight away then, and try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. But after we talk to Shanghai. Because there was one more thing. Yes, one more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance. the Reaper. With Lord von Zieks. How? Oh, there's much to discuss. All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly. London, the global epicenter of culture, science and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate, so it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and solve cases as efficiently as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly. The future of policing. Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly. It's extremely alarming. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. What? Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. What? How fascinating. It all began 15 years ago. I was... My god, he's not serious, is he? Oh my gosh! And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter, in the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Right, yes, that's wonderful! Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose stuck in another book now.
Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful?
I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. Oh my god, I'm slowly recovering too. While we're here... That reminds me! Have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition? Of course. No, not that! The story on the back! What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not?
Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he?
There's no need for concern. Lord von Zieks would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well, if it interests you. It does, strangely. We did have some interesting choice of words. Love to know. Fortunately, Lord Von Zieks emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter.
That's incredible. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked though? Do we know?
It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Von Zieks. But the man was acquitted. I've no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes.
Large sums of money?
A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday.
You're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper, surely?
The victim's henchmen certainly seemed to think so. He was a man by the name of Asman. Mr. Odie Asman.
Did you say Asman? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition.
Yes. Known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization.
Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something, Lord Strongheart?
Try me.
Why do you use Lord Von Zieks as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. Fearful of their fate, they seek to strike at Lord Von Zieks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still. Something's clearly going on here.
I have Von Zieks work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths or criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him.
But that doesn't make sense. How can you explain the way so many have died if not by someone's hand?
Von Zieks may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something. That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Yes, where would I find Lord Von Zieks now? I would assume he's at his office. Right, I'll go and ask him about that attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Harebrain's defense entirely in your hands.
Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord.
Let's find out what the story is. Surely you'd like to be closer to the light, sir. The warden said cell 11. That's this one.
There's someone curled up in a ball in the back of the corner. Look! What's his name again? Professor Albert Harebrain, wasn't it? Excuse me, Professor Harebrain? Who are you? I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a defense lawyer. A lawyer! Was it something I said? A lawyer, you say? What do you mean? About the experiment? Are you going to defend my hypothesis? Your hypothesis? Sorry, I don't... Yesterday's demonstration! That demonstration was... That magnificent demonstration was... It was an out-and-out success by anyone's calculations. But despite that, no one listens. No lawyer believes in science. When it's explained, they all leave at high velocity. Now's probably not a good time to mention that your zeal made my concentration leave for a while too. Ooh. Success, but at the cost of someone's life. You mentioned the demonstration yesterday. The papers have called it a spectacular failure. After all, a man died in the explosion, didn't he? Ah! Yes, you could interpret the results that way if you really wanted to. Well, I suppose in the strictest sense. The experiment was a failure, but at the same time, it was a great success! You've lost me. I saw it with my own eyes, right there in front of me. Mr. Asmund was spontaneously disassembled. Until then, everything was going exactly as my calculations had predicted. At that point, he should have been beamed to the Crystal Tower by instantaneous kinesis. However, the machine exploded and Mr. Asmund in fact perished. Yes, I can't deny that part of the experiment was a failure. So what you're really saying is the large explosion that killed Mr. Asmund was an accident, correct? The bigwigs had you arrested on suspicion of murder. I was responsible for a man's death. That is the immutable truth here. For that, I wish to be punished at once. But... Murder? Never in a million years! It was an accident! Simply an accident! I see. Hallie and I were talking this morning, you know. He said the situation would change completely depending on whether it was treated as an accident or murder. How exactly? Well, if it really was an accident, then the professor's machine would have been kept in protective custody. On what grounds? Yes, it's newly established here in Britain, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. That one passed me by. Couldn't come up with a shorter name. But if the case is treated as murder, then they'll say my machine... Then they'll say my machine was the murder weapon, and they'll be able to pour over it as much as they like. If they examine it in detail, they'll find out how it's made, and then they'll be able to copy my idea. My precious hypothesis will be stolen. The machine must be protected from that at all costs. That's why it's imperative this whole incident is shown to have been an accident in tomorrow's trial. I see now. So in short, there was a terrible accident at the Great Exhibition Showground yesterday. Yes! Or rather no, the devil's in the details. Strictly speaking, there was a terrible explosion. Sounds the same to me. You were demonstrating super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, weren't you? How fascinating! Humans, like all matters, are made up of particles that are held together by electrical bonds. It must be possible using a sufficiently high voltage to break those bonds and beam the particles through space. That's it in a nutshell. That's my idea, you see. That's my amazing hypothesis. Gosh, that's unimaginably high-level science. Oh, but dare to imagine it. Dare to dream of such incredible technology. Just think, one moment I could be here in this cell, and the next I could be at the Great Exhibition again. Well, yes, that would be incredible. And the next, in the mere blink of an eye, I could be at the Great Parisian Theatre, say. The possibilities are endless. The whole of our vast planet will be within reach. So no more hiding in wardrobes or rocky seas for 50 days. I don't really see it like that. What do you mean, Iris? Well, if you could travel anywhere in the world instantly, the planet wouldn't seem very vast anymore, would it? I think it would feel like it had shrunk. My word, that's exactly right! What are the implications? What does this mean? Oops, that's got Professor Bunnybrain really worried by the look of it. Clearly, this is yet another case of just because you can doesn't mean you should, I suppose. The point is, my calculations are flawless. The science works. But without a practical demonstration, it means nothing. It's always the fly in the ointment. Because practical demonstrations cost a lot of money. Money that young scientists like you don't have. That's exactly it, yes! Harley's always complaining about it. He says the government should invest more in science. Well, anyway, I bumped into him at the right time. I met the well-known investor, Mr. Asman. The victim who died in yesterday's terrible accident, you mean? The full name of the man who died in yesterday's accident was Mr. Odie Asman, wasn't it? What exactly was your relationship with the man? He first visited me in my laboratory in Germany a year ago now. He said he wanted to investigate my immaculate hypothesis. I thank my lucky stars! I see. So you hadn't really known each other until then? Money for scientific research. I'm so envious. As far as I was concerned, the man was an angel. Really? An archangel, even. He was prepared to fund a practical demonstration on my hypothesis for presentation at the Great Exhibition. And if that went well, I could expect additional financial support for my research from the British government. Mr. Asman provided me with money and an exceptional engineer. He produced a machine to my precise specifications. But then your dreams were blown to dust in one enormous explosion. As you can see, I owed everything to Mr. Asman. I would never thought of taking the man's life. He seems genuine enough. I don't think he's lying. How could this have happened? It must feel awful. As well as the man losing his life, the Crystal Tower was greatly damaged too. I know what happened! It must have been that! That? The day before the demonstration, I had my usual meal of frankfurters at the hotel restaurant. When I paid the bill, they gave me 3 shillings too much in change. But instead of saying anything, I just slipped the coins into my pocket. They're still there now. It's divine retribution for my wrongdoing, that's what it is. For a scientist, he has some very illogical anecdotes. Long and illogical. Oh, that's it.
Oh, I haven't been whipping this around. Ah, fascinating, yes. In Japan, where I come from, it's a symbol of a defense lawyer. Wearing it is very bracing, I find. Your words make some sense to me, but they are entirely illogical. What do you mean? Well, for example, I find this white laboratory coat that I wear for my work very bracing too. However, in my case, that's a perfectly logical reason for that feeling. Really, what is it? I purchased the wrong size by mistake. This one is too small for me. Sleeves especially are extremely bracing. I can barely remove my wrists. That's what you call logical, is it? Of course, that's entirely logical. That's science, Mr. Naruhodo. Looks like we're not gonna get much from this defendant. You might miss what people say. Oh, not this again. I mean, Strongheart said something about a mutual connection. Oh wait, what? I thought we checked this already. The Reaper attacked. The kingpins of the criminal underworld generally managing to escape conviction in the Reaper's trials. And this isn't the first time their henchmen have tried to attack Lord Von Zieks as a result by the sound of it. It makes you think. If that's how the justice system works in London, there must be dark forces at work. That's it! What? Oh, freak. Look, there might be something more we could discuss, but I'm afraid I'm not sure what it is right now. Alright, come along, Iris.
Whoa, so this is the legendary Reaper's office.
Yes, it appears so.
Oh, it sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere.
Is that? What the shit? The hooded figure was so still, I hadn't noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Ah! In the flesh? He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you well. I am. So, is the person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh? That's my apprentice, and he's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know you had an apprentice. Damn, a lot of things happen in 6 months, I guess. It must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. It's with a mask. He's very able in combat. A requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming, that is, such a fabled fiend genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms.
Lord Strongheart said the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack. True. Carried out by a henchman of Odi Asman's criminal organization. The investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably some hoped to kill me before that happened. Odi Asman. He's always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers. A global investor. But his enormous wealth came to him by underhand means, via his criminal activities. He used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances. It was a most unusual cause of death. I know about that. It was super high voltage instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. Mr. Asman died when the demonstration on the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? No, that does seem a little far-fetched. This man really is the fabled Reaper. He has to be innocent of this particular death, at least. It's strange how this has all worked out, isn't it, Bruno? I mean, what with you taking on the Professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh yes, that's right. I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert. Albert Harebrain. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. You're... What?! Your contemporary? I'd understood that Professor Harebrain was from Germany, though. Harebrain's from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research. That's all. So you were students together? I was in the Faculty of Law, of course, and he in Science, so our paths rarely crossed. But curiously, we got along. I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. With you, of all people, representing him! If I make out of this office alive! He's actually been charged with murder, it seems. Yes, I know, because the prosecution will be handled by me. By you? But you made it sound as if you and the professor had been friends. We are friends, it's true. Then why would you do this? If the Reaper is the prosecutor, there's nothing anyone can do to save him. He's doomed. What's Lord Von Zieks thinking? What do you mean by what you said before? If you'd like to know the Reaper's true identity, does that mean... I'm a crown prosecutor and a mortal like any other. I'm no demigod. They've all died, haven't they? The people you've prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended in a conviction or an acquittal. Those I prosecute are the vilest wretches of our society.
People who, without question, deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them.
That's not true of Mr. Nutsmere, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. Nor was Ginny. In fact, she's ever so hard-working now.
Really? Good. Not dead yet. Can't deny that since I encountered you, things have taken a turn. The point is this. If any of those vile wretches that escaped justice subsequently died in mysterious circumstances, it was at the hand of their own kind. It's not my work.
Lord Strongheart says the same. He believes you're not involved in any way. But you were attacked by those ruffians because they believe it's true!
The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. It would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be fearful of their lives.
Do you mean to say...
I mean to say that if my pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopt it gladly and with honor.
But it's putting you in danger! You could be killed!
That is my fate. Let God decide.
Lord von Zieks.
Lord von Zieks, about the article in this paper. Ah yes, seems there was a reporter nearby when that little skirmish took place. Oh hey, Altamont Gas Company. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me.
Looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though.
You look rather lovely in a top hat. Anyway, rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about him? He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose.
Oh, like you are to Hurley then, Bruno.
Since when? I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. He's currently compiling a report about last night's attack. It looks like he's wearing some kind of mask. On Lord Strongheart's orders. You didn't question that. Nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. Why would you agree to take on such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders again. You're awfully trusting of him. He's not one for meaningless follies. There will be a good reason for his actions. I hope you're right. Ah! The task is complete? Good. In that case, you can collate all the briefs. Nice to meet you. Back to work again. That was really strange though. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed. And yet, somehow, it didn't feel like our first encounter. Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. Lord Strongheart has strictly forbidden it. I see. Why are you so interested in my apprentice anyway? No, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to. The way he stood there so casually, yet with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. Ah, yes. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Oh, what's that? That Nipponese man. Is he faring well? Sorry? The one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago. With the stoop, and the mustache, and the jitters. Wait, it's October. He didn't get arrested in April. That was February, wasn't it? Okay, whatever. Mr. Natsume, you mean? It would have been 8 months ago then. I'm not sure he'd be very pleased to find you identified him from that list, Runo. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post only the other day. I see. Well, I think we can end our discussion there, don't you think? There's little time before tomorrow's trial. I advise you spend it investigating the case. Yes, thank you for the advice and for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Soseki-san. After a Nipponese. I'm not sure whether to feel happy about that or worried.
I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? That's a turn up for the books.
Mad scientist? Ah, you mean Professor Hairbrain? Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lord von Zieks, I think. Ah, return to the prison it is. Oh no, I want to snoop around the office. Oh, we're done here, right? Alright, let's snoop. Your infinite supply of hallowed chalices and wine bottles. Look at that fine collection of hallowed chalices and bottles neatly lined up there. My hallowed bottles are filled with the essence of the finest grapes from the finest vineyards I visit. And I personally oversee these chalices being made by the finest crystal craftsmen in the world.
Yet you throw them around in court like they were worthless.
Yes, because this imbecile is so unimaginably and repeatedly wide of the mark sometimes. Excuse me, no! What? Before you open your mouth next time, you should consider the poor artisans whose work you defile. Hey. So it's my fault. Silly me. How could I have ever thought otherwise? The audacity. Whatever. A chessboard. Lord von Zieks' desk. Look, so stylish.
That's a marble chess set beside it.
Chess. That's a Western version of our Japanese shogi game, isn't it? Is that quite that simple, a conversion? Surely they're different. You know, I'm actually quite good at shogi problems.
Really? You probably like chess problems in that case.
love to challenge Lord Von Zieks sometime. To a bout of shogi problems.
If you only really want to challenge yourself, you can always do that on your own time at home.
But who do I battle with? Nothing more at the desk. The portrait. That portrait really dominates the room, doesn't it? It's a very majestic outfit and pose. Sadly, whoever painted it didn't do a very good job of capturing Lord Von Zieks' facial features. It's a bit different.
Yes, you're right. I mean, it's not far off, but the artist has exaggerated his subject's handsomeness.
It reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France ordered artists to make him look more attractive than when they painted him.
How vain. That's really not an attractive quality in a person, is it?
True. That portrait does not depict me. Surely that's immediately obvious. Who is it then? Not going to spill, alright. I get you. We can always guess.
Look, it's a scale model of the Great Exhibition Showground.
Someone was bothered. It's amazing. I wonder why it's here.
Perhaps he made it to take his mind off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person?
Perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it as an investigative aid! You Nipponese have no business painting others as overly reserved. I really didn't think it over either. My bad. Why the fuck do you have bats in your cave? Oh my god, he really is a vampire. Ah! They were bats!
Yes, the Reaper's familiars, I expect.
But what about the mute man in the dark cloak?
I thought he was familiar.
Wait, what? Just not the flying kind. I thought he was the familiar. Just not the flying kind.
He must be a dear friend of Mr. Reaper, then.
I think the familiar idea is more likely. Scary though, either way. Look at all those ancient casks lining the wall there.
Casks in the Reaper's chamber. All the caskets.
You don't think all these people who escaped conviction and corner lying inside them dead to you? What ridiculous notions are going through your head, man? This is my collection of fine vintages. Of course. Thank you for clearing that up.
Bruno and I were just musing to ourselves. Don't mind us, Mr. Reaper.
I wouldn't if you hadn't invited yourselves to my office to talk nonsense within my earshot. Ah! This curious man. It really looks like a punishment to me. Don't Japanese people normally... I mean, I guess it's weird in a British context, but still, surely this looks normal to you, doesn't it?
I've never seen someone sitting like that before.
He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. Do you think perhaps he's dead?
If he was dead, Bruno, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he?
Well, anyway, dead or alive, he's not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's going to talk to us. He's not dead! Quit telling everybody he's dead! Okay, well, good day. Oh, yeah. Right. I think we've got the thing. Just the thing. The Reaper's varsity years. I understand Lord Von Zieks is a friend of yours from your university days. Yes, that's right. He was studying law while I was studying science. What was he like back then? A good question. Unassuming, gentlemanly, an all-round nice fellow, really. Sorry, I think you misheard me. I'm talking about the cold-hearted, merciless prosecutor Baroque von Zieks. What was he like when he was at university? Talk about a leading question, Bruno, really. As I said, an unassuming and extremely pleasant gentleman. After all, he is the little darling of the Von Zieks family with all its great aristocratic origins. I didn't realize he had such noble blood. Little darling? It was a bit of a shock when I came to Britain and learned what he'd become. The Reaper of the Bailey, no less. Yes, that's right. I did hear, though, that there was a very big event in his life that completely changed him after graduation. Really? What sort of event? Ah! I'm sorry, but I don't know anymore. I wasn't in the country at the time. I was in Germany already. Yes, of course. If he's heard all about the Reaper, I really don't have the heart to tell him that Lord Von Zieks will be the prosecutor in court tomorrow. So, Professor, let me just make absolutely sure I've understood you properly. The huge explosion that occurred yesterday, that was an accident, you're saying? You had no intent to harm the victim, and was in fact the sole investor in your work. Is that correct? As correct as 2 squared is 4! I swear it! Yes, it's true that the man perished in a machine of my invention. So I know that I'm far from blameless in all this. But still, I would never use my discoveries, my inventions, to take a person's life, not in a centillion years. I'm a man of science, that's all I know. You have to believe me, please. Do you believe me? Do you believe in my hypothesis? Science is the pursuit of truth, you know. I've always believed that, all my life. I'm afraid I don't know much about science, or your theories. But I do believe you, and I will fight to prove your innocence with all my might. I'm a man of the law. That's all I know. You have to believe me, please! When I went to live in Germany after I graduated, I learned something very important. Nationality, class, lineage, none of that matters. As long as you try your hardest, you can achieve anything. Thank you for that, Professor. Thank you in advance for defending me tomorrow in court. Alright, Bruno. It's time. Time to visit the Great Exhibition. Sorry? Well, that's where the incident happened, isn't it? Oh, don't shoot me. Yes, I suppose that's true. Time to investigate at last. Alright, we'll leave you to it. We'll come to your rescue.